What's she doing here?
What's the problem? I asked her to come.
So did I.
Ugh, why?
Strength in numbers, right?
Strength?
Someone has been missing practice lately. Tommy and I want to know what's going on. We thought we might need some backup.
Excuse me?
Ashley knows all about music practice.
Which we thought might help, right?
Sure. Oh, you're all friends now? Give me a break.
Elizabeth, we're serious. What's going on? Why'd you stop coming?
Ugh.
Is there something wrong with your voice? Do you not like the song? So, it's that you're jealous of my style.
I don't think they've said the name of the band. Or if they did, I can't remember it.
Worried I'm gonna show you up?
As if.
Then, what is it? I know you're used to getting your way, but come on. Do you even care about the contest? We're almost out of time.
I know, but we're just worried about you, okay? Stay out of this!
Look, I know this is none of my business, but just look at Tommy and Janet. Don't you see how much they care about you?
Condescending much?
I'm just trying to help.
Elizabeth, what's the racket? Keep it down.
Dad.
Oh, I didn't know we had guests.
It's Rex Alfred. I've briefly met you once before the stream broke.
Hi there, Janet.
Hey.
Hi, Tommy. And you're Richard's daughter?
You know, I never really paid attention to Tommy's
Yeah,
t-shirt
actually.
until right now. With the half
Let's not
heart,
make
half
guests
electric
wait in the
guitar.
entryway, Elizabeth. Please, make yourselves comfortable. Can I get you anything? We have some cake.
I'll take cake.
Really? Yeah.
Dad, seriously? Get out.
Young lady, that's no way to act in front of guests.
I was playing Overcooked with some friends
You may
last
not
night.
want me
We made a
hanging
lot of
around
cakes.
right now, but
All of them required honey.
But you need me to put on an act and play nice.
Elizabeth, listen.
I don't care. Just go away.
But do bring the cake.
Elizabeth.
Whoa. Hold on a minute. Can you save the family stuff for later?
Yes, we need the cake
We
first.
need to talk to Elizabeth.
About cake.
Of course, Janet. I'm going out. We'll talk when I get home. Make yourselves at home.
Hey, Ashley.
Does the R stand for red velvet?
Yeah?
Let me show you Elizabeth's room.
Sure, but what about those two?
It's a good cake choice.
They're fine. Let's give them some space.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Come on.
raspberry's gotta go with something. Like, it can be the filling for a vanilla cake. That would be great. But you don't exactly just have a raspberry cake in my
Ashley
experience.
and I are gonna wait in your room. Okay?
Don't touch my stuff.
But it is a good fruit choice because it
Got
would
it.
also work in a chocolate.
It's upstairs. Let's go.
A chocolate-covered fruit is a thing.
Elizabeth, we're really worried about you.
I know.
Then be real with me. What happened? Why'd you stop coming to practice?
Alright, this is where I left off the last time before the stream died. So I'd started reading the updated character bios for Chapter 5. Now I'm gonna try and do that here. Remember this old woman down here? Well, Matthew ran ahead chasing after John. When I went looking for him, I found myself in a big yard with a well-tended garden. The door to the house caught my eye. There was an emblem engraved on it. The relief of finding Matthew was short-lived. The old lady that lives there got super mad at us for going onto her property without permission. I explained our situation, hoping that would help, but she gave us this hard stare. She was pretty scary if I'm being honest. I was worried she might yell at us some more, so Matthew and I got us out of there. But the emblem on her door is still bothering me. I've seen it before, but where? Rum Baba is probably what they drank when they were coding Baba is you. We also met Bob Fox, the owner of the restaurant Bob's Food Hut, where he does sell burgers, so my video titles are not a lie. Apparently, when there are no customers in the place, he lets Tommy's band practice there. I'm sure they'd prefer a studio, but there's probably not a lot of options around here, so it's really nice of him to offer a space. I was hungry and ordered a salmon rice burger. Rice for the bun was a little weird, but went really well with the salmon, and it was actually totally delicious. There were lots of pictures hung up in the restaurant, including some of Dad. Bob also let me put my food on Dad's tab, so it seems like they're pretty close. There was also a picture of Bob's food stand from before he built the restaurant, and I'd seen it before. According to Bob, the idea for the salmon rice burger came from a Japanese lady who visited the stand and had a kid with her. I think it was probably Mom. It seemed like she was waiting for someone by the clock tower, but I have no idea who. Why did Mom come to Lake Juliet? Matthew is desperate to find out more about this unknown contaminant that's causing the lake pollution, but apparently not as desperate as he was for a meal. He practically inhaled 2 of the salmon rice burgers at Bob's restaurant. They are really good though. I understand why it's the most popular thing on the menu. I told Matthew I'd help him look for clues about his dad, but got sidetracked talking with Brian, then going to Elizabeth's house. Sorry, Matthew. I've also got a parental mystery going on with my mom, so it's easy to get distracted. But I'll get serious about helping. After all, I'm the one who said we'd find something by the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, if you bite into salmon expecting to taste salmon, then it's probably fine. But in the format of the burger, I kinda get what they're saying. We found out about a new feature on the DAS, water analysis. We used it to check the water in the lake and found the unknown contaminant causing the pollution. If we can figure out what it is, we should be able to prove Matthew's dad is innocent. There's been a suspicious-looking guy sniffing around, which makes me think that JC Valley is connected to the pollution somehow. We'll have to keep digging. On my way back to Dad's cottage, I ran into Ryan again. When I told him we were looking for Matthew's dad, he knew all about the pollution and Crusoe Resort. He even knew that allegations against Crusoe are wrong. It seems like he knows who's really responsible, but he wouldn't tell me, which was frustrating. What's also frustrating is when you have a giant run-on sentence with that many comma splices. While I was talking to him, my head got all fuzzy. I wonder what that was about. On my way to leave Ryan's cottage, I noticed a kaleidoscope on the windowsill. He said it was a memento of his mother, and you used to be able to see cherry blossoms when you look in it, but it's broken now. When I saw it, I remembered Mom holding that same kaleidoscope and standing in front of a grave. Whose grave was that? When I saw the picture of the food stand in Bob's restaurant, I remembered something else from 13 years ago. I saw Bob at the food stand handing Mom a paper bag. Mom was a customer of his and inspired him to come up with the salmon rice burger. I was surprised that the folks around here remember Mom as well, but it's nice to hear more stories about her. Bob said Mom was waiting for someone by the clock tower. Who could it have been? We found a new feature on the DAS that lets me do a water quality test just by taking a photo. I think we can use it to prove Matthew's dad is innocent. Did Dad create this feature too? Why? Is it somehow related to why Mom came here? It does show that Dad's a pretty amazing scientist, though. Hard to imagine, since he seems so unreliable with me. Oh, and when we stopped by Bob's restaurant, there was a picture of Dad there, holding a fish he caught and smiling really big. It was nice to see him looking happy instead of just fretting about research all the time. Ian is another researcher who works with Dad, or so I thought. So this guy John, who goes around calling himself a special agent, was talking to someone on the phone who he called Ian. They were talking about Dad and JC Valley, so there's no doubt in my mind that it's the same Ian. From what I gathered, Ian and John share some connection. They're working together on an investigation of the Crusoe Resort incident in JC Valley. Who are these guys, really? The guy who claims to be a special agent for the government, he definitely doesn't fit in at the campground with his black suit, so everyone thinks he's super suspicious. He says he's looking into the incident from 5 years ago, and I heard him mention Crusoe Resort to someone on the phone. It also looks like he's investigating JC Valley, where Dad works. It seems like Matthew's dad's disappearance is related to the lake pollution, but could JC Valley be connected? We could figure it out faster if this guy would tell us what he knows, but he says to let the adults handle it. Whatever. Matthew's on the clock, and we've already found some clues, so we're gonna keep looking into this regardless of what the adults say. I ran into Ryan again on the way to my dad's cottage. He invited me in to his cottage, which was super clean. The exact opposite of Dad's mess. Ryan knows I've been running around the lake. I wonder when he saw me. When he saw me looking at the kaleidoscope he keeps by the window, he told me it was a memento of his mother who died when he was little. As a child, he was sick and required painful treatments. My mom was there after each session, waiting by his side with the kaleidoscope. She'd cheer him up by telling him, "You were so brave, Ryan. Your mom was watching over you, I'm sure." He said whenever my mom looked into the kaleidoscope, the cherry blossom inside would make her nostalgic for Japan. But now, it's broken and you can't see it. That's too bad, I would have loved to. Ryan said he was glad we could talk, just the two of us, but I was happy to hear some new stories about Mom. Now that I think about it, I wonder what he meant when he said the reason I came to Lake Juliet is because there's someone waiting here for me. What could possibly be here waiting for me? Rex, the director of JC Valley, that's where Dad works. He's Elizabeth's father. And he offered us cake. There were photos of Dad and his friends on the wall at Bob's Diner, and Bob told me all these stories about them too. Turns out Dad and Rex are friends and they hang out at Bob's Diner. I think of Dad as single-minded, focusing only on his research. Turns out he has a social life. That's not the only surprise. Bob told me Dad likes music and fishing. The music talk is what caught my attention. Turns out Rex plays guitar, same as me. Guess we do have something to talk about. Elizabeth, the keyboardist and vocalist for Tommy's band. She is the daughter of Rex, director of JC Valley. She's selfish, conceited, and has a terrible attitude. In other words, it's safe to say I don't have the best impression of her. All the same, Tommy and Janet see her not just as a bandmate, but as a friend. They were really worried when she stopped showing up to practice. When I ran into her by the lake, we talked about the band, and it was obvious something's bothering her. There must be a reason she's skipping practice. Wait, why should I care? I guess because I think she ought to tell Tommy and Janet. Especially Janet. She wants to make it as a band, and it's obvious she thinks Elizabeth has the talent. Look, it's true that I can't stand her, and I've been trying to avoid her, but if she's as good as they say, I need to hear her sing, at least once, just to see what I'm up against. That makes sense, right? With the recording of their song lost, it's not like there's any other way to hear her. The least she could do is show up to practice, right? What is going on in her head? Janet, the drummer in Tommy's band, she's really friendly and fun to be around. She told me the band is entering the Big Deal Band contest, but it looks like Elizabeth lost the music player that had the song they need for it. And what's worse, Elizabeth stopped coming to practice around the time they made the recording. Janet and Elizabeth have been friends for forever, so it's only natural Janet would be able to sense when something is wrong. She must be worried. Janet told me how serious she is about the contest. She's hoping it leads to a record deal, so she can't just stand by and do nothing. They have their challenges, and it seems like more keep coming out of nowhere. I know firsthand the struggles that can come with being in a band, so I'm rooting for them. I hope they can work it out. Tommy, a college student who works part-time in the guest house. Tommy's in a band with Janet and Elizabeth, playing lead guitar and writing their songs. Janet told me he plays like a pro, but I was blown away by how inspired he is. He says he's just doing it for fun, but with chops like that, I think they've got a real shot at winning the Big Deal Band contest. I borrowed a guitar and jammed with him a bit, but I couldn't keep up. He complimented my performance, but I could feel the difference in our skill levels, and it made me realize how much more I need to practice. After that, I ran into Tommy and Janet on their way to Elizabeth's house, and they talked me into going with them. They want to ask her why she hasn't been coming to band practice, but that really doesn't seem like a conversation for an outsider to be in, so I'm not excited about this. Is that all the updates? It seems to be. Hooray! Okay, I think there's going to be a paper crane in here. So I'm going to keep an eye out.
Ashley!
You're sure we should just leave them?
Definitely. She'll listen to Tommy. If the boy you like can't get through to you, who can?
Oh, you mean...
Don't tell me you didn't notice. Well. We finally found someone as oblivious as Tommy.
Tommy doesn't know?
If he does, he hasn't let on.
Is he the reason she stopped going to practice? Maybe he turned her down.
Interesting. But I don't think so. Elizabeth used to be fearless when it came to guys. But these days, not so much. She hasn't been able to say anything to Tommy.
Hmm.
Ugh. I wish he could just be honest with him. Tommy deserves that.
What if he doesn't feel the same way?
Then she should just try again. Like they say, if plan A doesn't work, try plan A. Again.
That's what the A stands for.
Oh, is that what they say?
Oh well, it's out of our hands now. Let's wait in her room and give them some space.
Sure.
I mean, I could see it being a point of contention if, like, you know, if the relationship doesn't work out, then what does that mean for the band?
Whoa. Total rich girl energy in here, huh? It's also clean. Is this room for display only or something?
She's never cleaned it herself, you know. Cleaners come by.
Must be nice, being on the other side of the fence. Do you know this dog?
That's Princess.
Oh
Family
boy.
dog. But Elizabeth's mom took her in the divorce.
So Princess used to be Elizabeth's pet?
But she's back at Lake
Man.
Juliet.
That takes me back. Elizabeth was so cute.
Be that as it may.
So where's Elizabeth's
What
mom
do you
hiding?
think her allowance is? I mean, she has everything I've ever wanted.
Pretty sure her dad just gets her whatever she asks for.
I cannot believe such a father even exists.
She really hates him, though. You saw, right?
That might be
They're getting
why he
along
tries
all
buying
great.
everything that she wants.
All they do is fight.
Yeah, surely if I give her what
Everyone
she
hates
wants,
their dad
then
at one point or another.
she'll stop hating me.
You're not wrong. But it's a bit more complicated for Elizabeth.
How so?
It all started after her mom left. Things
I mean, she
between
took
her
the
and her
dog.
dad
That's
got
got to be pretty
bad.
traumatic.
Are they always like that?
You have no idea. It's non-stop. She yells at her dad for the littlest things. He has no idea how to handle it. Totally clueless. So he defaults to spending money on her. He just gets her whatever she wants.
Wow.
But even then, it never seems to make her the slightest bit happier.
They would think he would stop doing it.
Neither of them know what they're doing.
I get that. I fight with my dad a lot, too.
Although I guess Rex is just taking Janet's advice. Okay, how do I win over my daughter? I'll buy her whatever she wants. That's plan A. Oh, wait a minute. Plan A has failed? She still hates me every time we talk? I'll try plan A again.
Really?
I think I get how Elizabeth feels. I mean, my dad never buys me anything, but he tries to make up for things in his own awkward way. Elizabeth's mom left? Does that mean...
Yeah. Her parents divorced like 5 years ago. Adult stuff. I don't really know what was going on.
In April.
But Elizabeth blames her dad.
She does? What was her mom like?
She was a singer. Did shows in Las Vegas or something.
A singer?
Yep. She was really beautiful. Amazing voice. Elizabeth bragged about her all the time.
Now you say similar
So,
stuff about Elizabeth herself.
It really hit her super hard.
What do you mean?
Elizabeth loved her mom so much. But after she left, no contact. Complete radio silence. What's up?
It's weird. At first I thought we were totally different, but we actually have a lot in common.
Yeah, we both hate our dads, we both don't have our moms, we both are in a band, we're both around the same, we're both the same age, and Elizabeth, Ashley, our names are only one syllable apart.
Who does?
Me and Elizabeth.
Really?
I don't have a mom either, so I get it.
Okay, but yeah, a little different. Has to be a little different because her mom chose to leave and then hasn't visited her daughter since or stayed in contact. But your mom didn't choose to leave you at all. She was shot to death.
I ask myself all kinds of questions. Why do I have to go through big life stuff without her? Is it my fault she's gone? Things like that.
Didn't we establish it's Bill's fault?
I never thought about that. I guess I hadn't considered things from Elizabeth's perspective.
It can be hard. Ah!
Janet, she said not to touch her stuff. I think sitting on her stuff counts as touching it with your butt. Not to mention your hand
no.
touched that thing and knocked it over.
Is it broken?
You touched it again by picking it up.
What is it?
Elizabeth's music box. It plays her mom's debut song. She used to play it all the time, but I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay, by the way, keepsake of her mom, and you just casually sit on the vanity where it is and knock it over? Like, I don't know, Janet.
So she's had it since she was little? It must be really important to her.
And you might have broken it.
When her mom left, her dad threw out all her stuff. This is the only thing Elizabeth still has from her. I'll play it for you.
I don't hear anything.
Oh no! Did I break it? What am I gonna do?
I'm sure Elizabeth will understand it was an accident.
No! She won't! She's never gonna forgive me! Seriously, what am I gonna do?
Let me see it.
Is this a puzzle? Well, first let me look around for a paper crane, because it might be in this room. Flowers will solve everything, we'll just bribe her. Because that totally worked for her dad. That was plan F. I wonder if the same person who does the flower arrangements does the cleaning.
Nuh-uh.
I gotta fix the music box. This pink wallpaper is cute. I can't just go peeping in other people's closets. And this isn't just anyone's, it's Elizabeth's. Who knows what she'd say if she found out I was snooping. This bed sure is cute and big. Looks like a bed a princess would sleep in. No, her mom took the dog.
Huh?
The woman is pretty. Is she Elizabeth's mom? Alright, I don't see a crane. I have an update about something in the desk, though. Oh yeah, Princess. Ah, they moved her portrait down from here to here. Princess, a large dog with fluffy white fur. She's a dear friend I made at the lake. We couldn't figure out who she belongs to, but apparently she's Elizabeth's. Janet said she was living with Elizabeth's mom, but if Princess is hanging around here now, it must mean she ran away to see Elizabeth. Or that her mom is back. She's grown so much since she was a puppy, but it seems she hasn't forgotten Elizabeth, or how much she loves her. Yeah, but she hasn't found Elizabeth, she only found Matthew. I don't see a paper crane, but I am going to do some saving here. Try and be a little more frequent in case any tech stuff happens again. Elizabeth was happy once. Wonder what's going on. Maybe we have to wind it.
Huh?
It's stuck. I can't wind it. Maybe a peek inside will tell me why.
Ashley?
What's up with it? It looks like it has a few broken parts. How's that? Seeing the cylinder in here just gives me flashbacks to, which Zero Escape game used that for one of the puzzles? I think it was VLR. But it might have been 999. I know it wasn't ZTD. Oh crap, we're screwed. I could fix it if I had the right tools.
Right.
Will this help? It's the repair kit for my drum set.
Thanks.
Got a Phillips head. Got a flathead. Got a hex wrench. Got insect repellent. I appreciate it. I would love some insect repellent. Got rust removal. Got needle nose pliers.
All right.
Oh look, a loose screw. I should just spray the insect repellent. A long-lasting insect repellent I found in the drum maintenance kit. Is this somehow used for repairs? Bug repellent. Anyway, I'll take this flathead now. I shall turn the screw.
Ah.
This is the only spot missing a screw.
Yeah.
Nice and tight.
Oh.
The screw is stuck. I can't get it out with my fingers. Let's use the hex wrench.
No good, huh?
The wrench is too big. It'll never work.
Janet?
Why does she carry bug spray in here? If only I could remove the screw just by spraying it. Yeah, I'm loving the unique dialogue options for this. I wonder if any of my stuff has unique dialogue.
Nuh-uh.
This isn't it.
Nuh-uh.
This isn't it.
Nuh-uh.
This isn't it.
No good.
Using this might break some other parts.
No good.
Same thing for the Phillips head. I hope that did it. If only it did. If it did, I would never have an issue. Screw in place. Flathead it back in.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll play now. Sure, there's nothing else to check. There's this gear over here. Rusty gear. Spray it with insect repellent. This would only make the rust worse. Guess I should have figured a hex wrench wouldn't work. Oh, combine. That way a screwdriver could remove rust. Pliers could break the whole gear. Better not.
All right.
Okay, I hope people realize that I wasn't struggling on this puzzle. And that I just noticed that there was unique words and wanted to see them. Alright, any other clicky spots? No, I think that'll be good. Check the rest of the outside. Alright, let's turn it.
All right.
That's it! You fixed it!
This is a really pretty song.
I didn't know the Puzzle Complete jingle was Elizabeth's mom's debut song.
The song's great and all, but I'm just glad it's fixed. All that panicking was no good for my skin.
Yeah, but also it had to have been in that state to begin with, because there was stuff like the rusty gear.
Here, you can have these tools back.
Enough already.
I don't want to talk about it.
What do you think happened?
Huh? Does this open?
Like a piano we once knew.
It's a birthday card.
Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Thank you for being a part of my life. You're my angel. I hope your special day is full of love and laughter. I love you more than anyone in the world. With love, your mother, Kate.
It's falling apart. Elizabeth has read this over and over again. It must be so precious to her.
Huh? This is...
Well, we're definitely getting on Elizabeth's bad side now.
Crap. Elizabeth's coming.
What?
Elizabeth?
Get out!
What happened?
I said get out!
Let's go, Ashley.
Yeah.
Well, did Ashley grab the music player, or...
I guess something major happened? Let's go ask Tommy.
Why did I bring this with me?
Asked and answered. Any paper cranes out here?
Pretty.
Someone around here must have had a real green thumb to keep all these plants and flowers looking so pretty. It looks like they're thriving.
Wow.
This whole table is made of marble. I guess having a house this big means you have lots of space for hanging painting.
Yeah.
They even have wall space for really large painting.
Huh.
Locked. Guess I can't get in.
Huh.
Wait, this is actually a painting? Looks like Lake Juliet. What the heck is a Marblympics?
Tommy, what was the trouble?
Well, we were just talking about the band, but I'm really sorry, Rex. I didn't see that coming.
I was just on my way out when I heard the yelling.
We're back. Right, Ashley?
Dude, she even kicked you guys out?
What happened?
What do you mean, even
You've gotta
you
tell
guys?
us.
She hates Ashley. Of course she would kick Ashley out.
I just said I felt like she was hiding something, and she...
Hold up. You said what? What kind of play is that? If she could tell you, she already would have. You can't just spring that on someone.
Ashley, I'm sorry you had to see this.
We're the ones who dropped by unexpectedly.
Having friends visit should be a happy occasion.
Maybe she just didn't want company today. We all have days like that.
That's a good perspective. Things sure are tough at your age. I'm trying to meet her halfway.
You with the cufflinks, you're pendant man.
I remember those cufflinks. Have I met this guy before?
Ashley?
I came here 13 years ago. Do you remember if we met then?
No, we've never met.
Oh,
I've known Richard for quite some time. He talks about you often.
when did you meet?
Right after he and Sayoko graduated.
You knew my mom too?
Yes, back when JC Valley was called MJ Labs. Judd Fitzgerald, the lab director, went on to found JC Valley. We conducted research together for the EC project.
That's a lot of two-letter initial things.
So Elizabeth's dad knew my mom.
JC, now MJ, EC.
Ashley?
Uh-huh, yeah?
Sorry to bore you with my old stories. What's Richard up to? Is he waiting for you back at his place?
Nah, he got a call from the lab.
He went to JC Valley?
Yeah, he said there was some kind of system trouble.
More trouble. I'll have to go check on things later.
Hey guys, I think we worn out our welcome. Let's head out.
No kidding. It'll take Elizabeth a while to cool down. See you later.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Of course. I hope to see you again soon.
He certainly puts on a hospitable front.
You think Elizabeth's gonna be okay?
Sorry we brought you into that.
I don't think I helped much.
I'm glad we had the backup. Thanks.
Later, Ashley.
Open the door!
Huh?
Leave me alone!
We're worried about you. Don't you get that, Lizzie? Lizzie!
Don't call me Lizzie. Only Mom gets to call me that.
They're back at it.
This is gonna take a while. Eventually they'll calm down and she'll send me some angry texts.
Want to kill time at Bob's while you wait for those texts?
Sure.
Is that a typical father-daughter fight? Pretty intense. Oh no, the music player. I think they said they were going to Bob's. I'll catch up with them there.
Let's take another detour from where we were originally going. Alright, we got updates on Judd, the founder of JC Valley, where Dad works, and Mom's first mentor when she started working on memory. If he was her mentor, does that mean he was a scientist? What kind of person was he really? He might also know lots of stuff about Mom, maybe even things Dad doesn't know. I should ask him if I get the chance. Elizabeth's mom. She was so pretty, and apparently performed in Las Vegas. How cool. But it sounds like no one's heard from her since she divorced Rex and left home 5 years ago. Elizabeth never got over it. She keeps a birthday card from her mother in a music box. It's falling apart from how frequently she reads it. Kate wrote that she loves Elizabeth in the card, yet she went total no contact. I wonder why. I'm sure adults are all dealing with their own things too, and I have to imagine walking away was hard. But I know all too well the feeling of loss and loneliness that Elizabeth must have felt at so suddenly losing her mother. She was so proud of her mom. She loved her. If by some chance you're still out there, Kate, I hope you'll reconnect with Elizabeth, even if you talk to her just one more time. After all, you're her one and only mother. Okay, I'm here. So there is a paper crane in Elizabeth's house. I hope we go back there. I looked where I could, but this is another case where there was a room that we couldn't go into. Like, we didn't see Elizabeth's closet, we didn't see the vacant room on the second floor.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, I thought this was the way back to Bob's. Do. Two birds. Clock tower's this way. Wait, I went the wrong way, but it let me go this way. That's weird. Usually the game is very gatekeepy with like, oh, don't go that way. Should be to the right. Oh. The restaurant is in the cul-de-sac. Why did I think it was further down a path somewhere? Long time no see, Tommy.
I can't believe it was inside the music box.
Sorry.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah. I'm glad you found it. It just doesn't make sense.
Why would she hide it?
So I'm just looking at Janet right now, and it makes me think back to the days when we were getting Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE localized in our region, and people were complaining about a certain thing being censored. And I don't have that complaint, by the way. I don't care about that change to Tsubasa, especially given the character's age. I thought it was fine. Definitely doesn't hamper the game. But clearly the Another Code team felt differently.
I haven't seen Elizabeth cry like that in a long time. Tommy, what did you say to her?
What did I say? I didn't think she'd start crying. And that's not all. You should have heard her. I kept asking why she wasn't coming to practice. And she started spouting off some nonsense. Said she didn't feel like it, that she didn't have any fun singing.
A total lie? Obviously. Elizabeth loves singing more than anything.
Yeah, it was so clearly untrue, you know? It made me so mad. I started yelling. I told her to tell the truth.
District Attorney Tommy here to get to the bottom of things.
She got so upset, she started to cry. Guess what she said next? She said that I shouldn't force myself to hang out with her. That she knows the truth and everyone is laughing at her.
What now?
Seems like she's got it in her head that she's a bad singer.
Say what? Where is that coming from?
Right? It's so wrong, it's almost funny.
Please tell me you didn't laugh.
Whoa, you think I'd laugh when a friend's that upset? I told her she was off base, but she didn't listen. Her confidence is totally gone. She just started crying.
Unbelievable.
That's how it all went down.
That's what this whole thing is about. That's it.
Elizabeth loves singing that much?
Yeah,
Imagine if that's true, Bessa.
ever since she was little.
Or should I say
I
bass
had
backwards?
this memory from when we were really young. She was listening to her mom's music box and humming along. She looked so happy. Sometimes she still does it. And when she does, she looks exactly like when she was a kid. Elizabeth hates people seeing her like that.
I get that.
Like, she loves music. But her mom's singing is special to her.
There was...
Hmm?
She said something else. She said she'd never be able to sing like her mother.
Okay. Like, she's not her mother?
She's not actually a bad singer, right?
No, not at all. She has a beautiful voice.
Yeah, she has such a unique sound. It's really cool.
But she's convinced she's no good?
It's super weird.
For real. Totally strange.
What are we gonna do? We've got to submit our song to the contest.
Well, now you have
But
it
we
back.
can't without a singer.
Should we just give up?
Did you just take the recording
way.
that Ashley
We're
stole?
entering no matter what.
Then we've got to get her to practice. She messaged you yet?
Not yet. Which means she won't pick up if we call.
Your song is on this, right?
Yep. Give it a listen.
Okay.
Do you get to hear it? Or do we just get to watch Ashley hear it?
What'd you think?
Of course it's
That's
the
not
latter.
bad. Actually, I really like it.
I know, right?
Rad.
Elizabeth's voice isn't what I expected.
Not what I expected
Right?
either.
She's like a different person when she sings.
Totally different. It's unreal.
Wait a
I've never
minute.
heard a voice like that before.
There's something about it. It resonates.
Like you feel it in your heart.
Maybe she's so uptight about this because when they say it's like a different person, maybe it's a bit more than that. Well, I don't know how she would have pulled that off with her practices with her friends.
Exactly.
Bob's Food Hut. Absolutely. The usual? You got it. Delivery incoming. Hey kids, I'm heading out for a minute. Watch the diner for me?
No prob, Bob.
Unreliable bunch, the lot of them.
I've got to go. Matthew's waiting
Does
at
he
my
mean
dad's
us?
place.
Don't worry. We'll handle the music player situation.
Sorry for dragging you into this. See you later.
See ya.
Don't we watch the diner from, you know, the diner? Why did we leave? Staff only. Okay, I guess these two are sticking around after all.
You okay?
Don't worry about Elizabeth. We'll take care of it.
Huh?
You should head home. That kid's waiting
Yeah.
for you, right? That's what you think. But you did go on like 5 different detours. So maybe don't be surprised by what you're about to find out.
Matthew!
Oh,
Maybe he's upstairs.
Matthew? Not here. Where did he go? His dad's briefcase is open. What was he looking for in here? Is this Matthew's dad? And there next to him, John Smith?
They're not the same guy? Man, I thought they were the same person. Maybe they're twin brothers.
Looks like that statue used to be a big draw back in the day. Who's that in front of the clock tower? It's John with that mean old lady from the garden. Wait, so that means she actually does know him?
I bet Matthew saw this photo and went to check it out.
I got the briefcase. Okay, back to the old woman.
Matthew.
I gotta find him quick, but I'm not sure where to look. The lady was in the photo. Sure, I know where I'm going. The old woman was past the restaurant over that bridge, right? Pretty sure. Restaurant was this way. Ooh.
Come to think of it,
Got yelled at pretty good the last time we were here. Bob.
Ashley.
Bob?
Why so surprised? I'm just wrapping up a delivery.
here?
Yep. She'll deign to eat my food if I bring it to her. I just wish she'd admit the salmon rice burger is delicious. What brings you around here?
I'm looking for Matthew. I think he's probably at that at that lady's house.
You mean Charlotte? A word of caution if you're paying her a visit. She has a few rules and can get ornery if they aren't followed.
Rules?
Yep. Rule 1, don't say anything to indicate her age. Don't call her miss, no ma'am, just Charlotte. Second, don't bring up her daughter Olivia, sore subject.
Well, we wouldn't have known
And
about her
most
daughter if
important,
you didn't
don't
just
even
tell
mention
us.
the clock tower.
Charlotte has a daughter?
A daughter who eloped and left home.
Wow, she eloped? That sounds like something from TV.
You said it. Olivia had been married before. It didn't end well. But she eventually fell in love with someone new. She wanted to get hitched, but her mom put her foot down. Charlotte said the man would break her heart like the last one.
That's a terrible reason.
But that didn't stop Olivia. She just couldn't stay away from him. They wound up eloping and leaving town.
Wow.
Poor Charlotte hasn't said a word about her daughter since.
Do you know anything about the guy she ran off with?
Yeah, this photographer who lived by the lake, Gilbert. Great guy. Sometimes he and Olivia would stop by the diner. It's a pity Charlotte couldn't see him as anything but bad news.
Must be the guy who lived in the house Matthew was hiding in.
And that house is near the clock tower.
Why shouldn't I mention the clock tower to Charlotte?
It's a real shame. That tower brings up terrible memories.
What terrible memories.
Well, Charlotte's father had that clock tower built. His name was Benjamin. Really knew his way around a
Of
clock.
course. Was he a big fellow?
Charlotte upheld his legacy by taking good care of the tower. But she had to call it quits 5 years ago. And who could blame her after what happened?
What happened 5 years ago?
It was a tragic accident. I don't like to talk about it. In any case, Charlotte stopped the clock and locked it up. That old tower hasn't been opened since.
Thanks, Bob. That's all good to know.
Now, I've had this feeling
Sure
for a
thing.
while now, but is it safe to say
Now,
that someone
you
died
get
from
those
falling
rules,
off the
okay?
clock tower at this
I won't.
point?
Good.
They've been
Now be
beating
sure
around
you
the
and your
bush
buddy
with
stop
it
by the
long
diner
enough.
again.
Oh boy, several new entries. We have a whole Graham family box now. Gilbert, a famous photographer. He moved to Lake Juliet from New York 9 years ago, but then up and left one day. He just abandoned his house. Didn't even take his stuff with him. And the reason why? He eloped. Seriously. I've only heard of that happening on TV. The idea of dropping everything and running off for love seems romantic. I couldn't help but get caught up in the drama, but whatever the reason, Gilbert left an empty house, which provided Matthew with a hiding spot whenever he needed to lay low. There were photos of Matthew's family in the basement, so maybe Gilbert knows something about Matthew's dad. I want to learn more about this photographer. Charlotte's daughter who left home and eloped. She returned to her family home, broken-hearted after her first marriage ended in divorce. But then she met Gilbert, a photographer who had moved to Lake Juliet. The two fell in love. Olivia wanted to marry Gilbert, but her mother was against it. They never reached an understanding, so Olivia and Gilbert eloped and then disappeared. She and Charlotte lost all contact. I always thought people only eloped on TV or in movies. It seemed so romantic that two people could be so in love they just run off and get married, but I guess the reality is a lot more complicated than that. I wonder if Olivia misses her mom. Charlotte's clearly worried about her. Ay. Well, the reason the clock towers are like that, you see, is because... Well, I mean, from a story perspective, if you have a clock tower, it means that something big time needs to happen. Matthew ran ahead after chasing John. When I went looking for him, I found myself in a... Oh, wait, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I've read that description before. This was just updated to her name being Charlotte. Benjamin, Charlotte's father. He was a skilled clockmaker who built the clock tower in Lake Juliet. I imagine construction was a lot harder back then, so building something colossal must have felt impossible. It's kind of amazing that it's still standing today. Bob told me how important the clock tower is to Charlotte, but something tragic happened there 5 years ago, and now it's all locked up and nobody is allowed inside. I guess it's kinda sad that such a great landmark has to go unused. I don't know why I said I guess, those words were not written there. I bet the bell at the top is really loud. I wonder what it would be like to hear it ring all throughout Lake Juliet. Any other update? Yeah. No shed for us.
Oh.
Huh.
Do you like that, pretty girl?
Hello?
Yes, you again. What do you want now?
Wow, she's turned on us.
Is this your dog?
No, but she does belong to someone I know.
You lost girl. You must be. She's been wandering around for the last few days.
Probably better off with you than, well,
I could see
her
she
other
was
owner.
hungry, so I've been feeding her.
Princess? What is it? What are you doing?
She's telling you to get in the house.
Oh, I thought she was telling us to get away from the house. Like a
What?
guard dog, because she liked you.
Oh, hurry up inside. I'm guessing this one's with you.
Huh?
Well, we came here looking for Matthew. Did you think we wouldn't find him?
Matthew! So this is where you've been.
Apologies, you had to find him here. Of all places.
She's right, Ashley. Don't be rude.
Matthew? I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant at all.
You're just making it worse. It was a joke.
A joke?
Do you want something to drink or not?
Charlotte makes great tea.
Sure. I'd love a cup.
Take a seat. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, you were looking for me?
Yeah, I was.
Sorry, but I found something. Proof Sunglasses guy's involved.
I saw the photo. Did you come here looking for him?
And I don't totally blame Matthew because we kept him waiting how long?
I already asked Charlotte. She said she doesn't know him. I told her I was sorry for barging into her garden earlier, and once I apologized, she invited me in for tea.
Sounds like you've been busy.
Here you go.
This smells great.
It's my own blend.
Thank you. It tastes as good as it smells.
Right?
I like how you've decorated. It feels so warm and homey.
I like to make things by hand.
You made all this? No way. You must be able to make anything you want.
Oh, I've heard that before. This one's father, Michael, visited me years ago. He said the same thing.
You knew my dad?
Matthew's dad was here?
Of course. Many times.
Hmm?
I knew Michael when he was just a young boy.
Really? Can you tell me about him?
Well, let's see. Michael was quite the troublemaker. I had to shoo him from my garden more often than I cared to.
Oh, and here his son has learned, after just one time being shooed, that he can apologize. It seems like Matthew's doing better.
Like me.
Just like you. But he never grew out of it. Always a troublemaker. He never found steady work, so he spent his days lazing about. I was worried about him, truth be told. But then he went and won the lottery, of all things. That's when he started his resort development company. To think, young Michael, a CEO. I was against it, of course. I didn't want tourists underfoot. But Michael, well, he was desperate to do it. I don't know why. It didn't end well. The town blamed him for polluting the lake. His company was done for. I felt so bad for his poor kids.
I'm just fine. No one needs to feel bad for me. None of it was even Dad's fault. The real bad guy did it and blamed my dad.
Is that so? You believe in your father?
Could you tell us what you know about the pollution?
That would have been about 5 years ago. All the hubbub began when the resort started bringing tourists. A newspaper claimed the lake was being polluted.
Gotta get that scoop.
You're thinking back? That was quite strange.
What was?
People loved the idea of the resort at first. The town backed the whole plan. And then that article came out. Crusoe Resort was not named as the cause of the pollution. But all of a sudden, folks changed their minds, got angry.
Interesting.
They blamed your father's company.
That's weird.
It is. Soon everyone had turned against Crusoe Resort. Suddenly it was protect our lake this and get out that. Tourists disappeared as quickly as they had come. I've never seen anything like it. One day folks supported him. The next day they were dead set against him. It was eerie. All the while they acted like they were being downright noble. Phew.
Remind me how old this game is, because I feel like this scenario is kind of ahead of its time.
They're all newcomers to me. No leg to stand on.
Did you ever think Michael might be guilty?
Not once. We had different opinions about the development, of course. But I know Michael. Someone who would check in on an old lady. That man wouldn't harm the lake for his own ends. He was never the villain they made him out to be. If you could remember how he looked at you. Such love.
Wait, we've met? You already knew me from back then?
Of course. I met you when you came here with Michael.
And I had to shoo you out of the garden, too.
Huh, really?
But it seems like you may have forgotten.
You said I came here too, but I don't remember at all.
You were just a tiny little thing. I'm not surprised.
I guess.
It was right after my husband died. He was a clockmaker. He had been tending the clock tower, but with him gone,
I just want Bob to know we didn't bring up the clock tower. She
we
did.
would have to pay someone to keep it running. Then Michael Crusoe walks in my door, young son in tow.
So that's when I was here.
That's right. Your father was a kind man. He offered to pay for repairs to the clock tower. It was a very generous offer, but, well, my stubbornness got the better of me. I turned him down. Michael said he understood, but he seemed disappointed. He left, but not before having a slice of my raspberry cake.
How did this happen? How? Oh my God. I guess I was wrong. You don't just have raspberry cake. Oh, yeah, yes you do. You do if it's with Charlotte.
Did I have cake too?
You bet you did. You were all smiles.
Raspberry cake. I remember something.
Why is this a critical plot point?
I had that cake. Dad was there. We left and got in the car. We stopped somewhere. He said he had work and told me to wait. And he gave me a toy car to play with.
You remember all of that?
Yeah, I remember coming here with my dad. And after that...
I bet it's also what's polluting the lake. They're trying to make Charlotte look bad. They're poisoning it with some genetically altered raspberries.
That's all I can remember.
I'm sorry for bringing up those memories. You don't have to keep going.
No, I need to remember. Not being able to remember is why I haven't found my dad yet. At least, that's the feeling I get.
Matthew. When was the last time you saw Matthew's dad?
Well, it's been quite a while now. I saw him in town during all that unpleasantness. He'd stopped visiting by then. I haven't seen him since all that trouble.
He went missing after that. We're looking for him.
Is that so?
Yeah, I'm gonna find him and prove he's innocent. Ashley's helping me look.
That is quite the pickle.
Now, I want to go to the clock tower to find him.
Uh-oh.
What did you say?
Matthew, you did the no-no thing.
Oh no, you're not supposed to bring up the clock tower.
Huh?
Crap.
Why do you want to go to the clock tower? Michael isn't there.
There's something about the clock tower.
Still saying it.
I feel like I've forgotten something important. Maybe if I remember, I'll be able to find my dad.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah. I'm a little scared, but I want to know the truth.
Charlotte, please, let us take a look. We've talked about it. Facing the truth can be hard, but it's always for the best.
You're pretty determined, huh? Fine. You can look inside the clock tower.
Wow, she ceded defeat a lot easier than I thought she would.
However, you're going to need 3 keys.
Why does that seem familiar?
There are 3 keys?
Yeah, actually, don't you know about the 3 keys? It's another set of 3 keys.
Indeed, there are. Each key represents a part of our family crest. A sword, a moon, and a flower. They've been passed down in my family for generations. Members of the Graham family carried each one separately. My father, Benjamin, my husband, Robin, and my daughter, Olivia. My husband passed away and Olivia left home. Robin used to store things in the tool shed, but I'm not sure where Olivia may have put hers. I guess what I'm saying is I don't really know where the keys have gotten off to.
So, if we find the 3 keys,
then you may do as you wish.
Alright. Hey, rotary phone. I don't think I've seen one in real life. I wonder if it still works. My grandma had a rotary phone, so I have actually seen one.
Huh.
It's a nice clock. Scarlet Labyrinth by David Shields. The book's pretty old, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Callbacks. Are these family photos? They're from a long time ago. I wonder if this person with the beard and glasses is one of Charlotte's ancestors. These pots are pretty cool. I like the gold design.
Huh.
Fireplace is old, but it looks like it's being well taken care of. The tableware feels stylish and refined.
Ah.
Are these vegetables from the garden outside? Oh, Wario would love it here. The kitchen is so well organized. Dad and Jessica could learn a thing or two. This a photo album? It's like a record of Charlotte's memories. I wonder if it has old pictures of Lake Juliet. And I wonder if the DAS has any updates. Just one, on Robin. Charlotte's late husband. He was a clockmaker in charge of maintaining the clock tower. No one's allowed in there these days. He held one of the 3 keys needed to get in, and according to Charlotte, he used to store things in the shed. That's a good hint. Let's check it out. The tea and cookies were delicious.
Ah,
Can I look in your vacant room? Can I look in your other vacant room?
Man, 3 keys for 1 clock tower?
Charlotte's husband's key and her daughter's.
Where could they be?
Well, she said her husband kept things in the tool shed. Let's check there first.
Now I can go in. Pretty dusty. Hopefully we can find the key.
Huh?
What are these plates doing here? They're covered in dust. The barrel's empty. Doesn't look like the clock's working. Must be broken. Nothing out of the ordinary. The area around the desk is littered with clocks. Nothing out of the ordinary. Broken clock. Broken clock.
Amazing.
A miniature version of the clock tower. The door at the bottom.
Maybe.
This mark looks like a sword. Maybe there's something inside. Won't open. How can I get in there? Okay. I believe I'm gonna need to look around the room a bit more.
Um.
7:21. 11:56. 3:52. 4:25. There's a shelf with 3 clocks.
Huh?
There's a letter carved here.
Huh?
5:54. This clock's strange. It has 3 dials. Let's see. The left one is set to 6:05. and the middle is 3:20, and the right one is 8:15. Left is 6:05, middle is 3:20. The tools around here sure are clean. One's 3:37, but I don't see... If this is north and south, then where are east and west? South plus north equals east. Okay, so it's these. Hold on, I gotta write this. Okay. South 6:05. North 20. East 9:25. West 8:15.
Huh?
This part's a lid. Okay, this needs to be 9:25. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9:25.
Huh? Maybe.
North is 3:20. 5, 4, 3:20.
Yeah.
West 8:15. Other direction.
All right.
South 6:05. Oh, it's already on 6 o'clock, so this will be the easiest.
You did it.
The key was in there after all.
All right. We got a key.
Wow, great job.
Oh, thanks. Let's tell Charlotte.
Right.
I mean, someone was a little cuckoo to design that clock puzzle.
Hey, Charlotte.
Find the keys yet?
One of them.
We found the sword key. And thanks for telling us where to...
I didn't tell you anything. You found it all on your own.
Yeah, I told you Princess should have learned to
Let's look
guard
for
the
Olivia's
place.
key next.
Do you have any clues for where it might be?
Now that you mention it, Olivia left something strange in the greenhouse. A wooden box with an image of a flower on it. There's something funny about it, but I never figured out what.
Come on, Ashley. Let's go check it out.
Now, that won't be the first flower box that we've seen today. The music box from Elizabeth's room was also, you know, flower decorated.
It's so hot.
What was Olivia doing here before she left?
Let's take a look around.
Right. The box should be somewhere in here.
Nothing that looks like a box around here. The plant's leaves are huge. Where's the box? Let's look around. Oh, look, small box.
Oh, hey.
Can you reach it? I think so.
Hey.
There's a rose carved onto the lid.
All right.
Let's get it open. There's a little maze. Oh, is this gonna be forced motion controls? Great. No!
Huh?
Yes, the rose mark is the goal, and I was almost there. It is a lot more intuitive than whatever the heck the first game had. And I guess I should have expected this from the game that was on the Wii. I swear. I can practically speedrun that first part. Just this last little bit. I don't know why that was such a visceral reaction, but oh my god. Ah. Right, slowly. Like the least amount of tilt possible. Please get in there. Or Tilton. Yes, I did do that. Eh. How does it? I swear it's like a magnet drawing in the ball from that spot. Oh, when you reset the box position, it also resets the ball? Ugh. Thought it would just reset the gyro.
Ugh.
I am tilting so much to the right to try and compensate. Yeah, this is what it's like if I turn it upside down. Ugh. Alright, blah blah blah, easy peasy, dooby dooby doo, dooby doo wop. Now we're back here. Finally.
Dear Mom?
Oh, for sure.
A letter?
Yeah, left by Olivia. I bet Charlotte's never read it. We should deliver it.
But what about the key?
Charlotte's been in the dark for so long. We should do this now.
We'll look for the key right after?
Of course.
There's no part of you, Matthew, that thinks maybe the note tells us where the key is. Oh, also, bass backwards. I just realized you broke one of Bob's rules. You're bringing up her age. Shame.
Charlotte.
Find the key?
Not yet. But we did find this.
What is it?
A letter left by Olivia. It was in the greenhouse.
I don't know, given your track record with the raspberry cake, I wouldn't be surprised if some random Twitch user with the name Charlotte just popped in the chat within the next minute.
Olivia.
I wonder what she wrote. Are you sure it's okay for me to read it? Dear Mom, I'm sorry for leaving without saying anything. I felt like
if I had told you, you never would have approved of me leaving home, or of my relationship with Gilbert. None of this was his idea, so please don't blame him. It was all me. In fact, he tried talking me out of it, right up until I left. You were worried I'd get my heart broken again. But I'm fine. I know I can find happiness with Gilbert. It's why I decided to leave with him. But there's another reason I couldn't tell you. I'm pregnant. What matters to me most was to give this child a chance to live in a happy home. And for that, I needed a fresh start with Gilbert. I know that as a mother, you understand how important that is. There's nothing more important than your child's happiness. So please understand, my leaving is not Gilbert's fault, and it's not yours. The only one to blame is me. If you can find it in your heart to forgive me, then I would love for you to meet your grandchild. A child should know the love of their grandmother. I wish you good health and a long life. With love, Olivia.
That seems pretty messed up to me. Like, when you were having the conversations about being with this
Olivia
guy,
had a baby?
you just decided not to bring up that, you know, there was a child involved, and if you really wanted the child to... that just feels wrong.
Congratulations,
Maybe I'm
Charlotte.
looking at it the
You're a
wrong way.
grandma.
So it would seem.
But how old is that letter at this point?
Olivia, if only you'd spoken a word of this to me.
Well, Charlotte seems to agree.
I might have become even more obstinate.
Or not.
It's a key.
It's Olivia's flower key. It was inside the letter.
Funny how you didn't feel that at all. Like, I've got this letter. You know, this thing made out of paper that's flat. Let's go bring it to Charlotte and not notice at all that there's like a bulging metal piece shaped like a key.
Are you sure?
Yes. Thank you for bringing me Olivia's letter.
Of course. Thank you, Charlotte.
There's only one more.
Right. We've got this.
Yeah.
No need to keep searching.
Huh?
Here.
The moon key? You had it the whole time?
Well, didn't she say it was her and her husband and her
hurry up
daughter?
and take it before I change my mind.
We won't lose it. Thanks again, Charlotte.
Ashley, when you gave me Olivia's letter, I learned her true feelings for the first time. Thank you.
I'm glad I could help.
Never knowing the truth is a far worse fate. I never thought I'd learn that from a child. Olivia was heartbroken after her first marriage ended. She shut down. She wouldn't open up to anyone. Not even me. But she came back home to this beautiful place. Lake Juliet mended her heart one piece at a time. Then, as soon as she seemed whole again, that man arrived. At first, Olivia ignored him. He tried to win her affection, but she wouldn't budge. She no longer believed that someone could love her. But he didn't give up, and before I knew it, she was in love.
Why were you against them getting married?
That man came from the city like he was blown by the wind. If he moved here on a whim, was his love also a whim? I had seen Olivia tortured by a broken heart. I was set on protecting her from the idle desires of a fickle man. The whole time, it seems I never understood. Now, I just truly hope that she's happy.
You should tell her that yourself.
At this point? No, it's too late.
Why? You could just give her a call.
Not if she's dead.
Well, but that would...
I just don't get why you would hesitate at your age.
You brought up her age.
You're fine. I know that you just see me as an old lady.
Wow, maybe Bob doesn't know a darn thing.
But age doesn't make it easier to admit you were wrong.
That sounds rough.
Indeed. I have a favor to ask of you two.
What is it?
I want you to get the clock tower running. I'd like to hear the bells chime again.
We'll give it a shot.
If we can fix a music box, we can fix an intricate clock tower.
Well, you have your keys, so off you go. The moon key will get you into the clock tower.
We'll be back. Let's go, Matthew.
Right
Well, then what are
behind
the
you.
other two keys for?
Do you really think we can get the clock tower working again?
Maybe.
It's been years since I heard that bell. Oh, Olivia. I remember how much you loved to hear it ring.
Sword key. Flower key. Moon key. Also, the fact that we need a moon key to get into the clock tower, making a lot more Bayonetta connections than I expected from a game like this. Dooby-doo, dooby-doo, dooby-doo. Let's just casually dash over to the clock tower that no one has touched in many, many years. Where some tragedy occurred.
How about this? Got it. What's wrong, Matthew?
It's just that...
Is it scary? These are my magic words. Even though facing the truth can be hard, in the end, it's always for the best.
You've said that before.
I have.
Played one too many Phoenix Wright games,
Something
and
a
now
friend
she's
taught
hooked on
me.
the truth.
When I was trying to figure out what happened to my mom, those words gave me the strength to learn the truth.
You think they'll help me?
I know it.
Even though facing the truth can be hard, in the end, it's always for the best.
And if someone had played this game for the first time back on the
Look
Wii,
out for him.
if someone played this on the Wii for the first time and that scene was in the original version and then they saw it and like, you would have no context for that. "5 years ago."
Ugh, it's so dusty in here. I bet no one's been inside this place for years.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying that one moment would be very confusing. It's obviously not gonna ruin the game.
Do you remember anything?
I don't know. But I have been here before.
Maybe looking around will jog your memory.
Mm-hmm.
Still scared?
Honestly, yeah. But I have to remember, even though facing the truth can be hard.
In the end, it's always for the best.
The entire rest of this game's script is going to be that sentence.
Okay, let's take a look around.
Right.
It appears this desk was a workbench. These clock repair tools, they're pretty dusty. Lots of books, too. Alright, I'm sure we have many updates in the DAS. Oh boy. Alright. Judd was the director of MJ Labs, which was the predecessor of JC Valley. Apparently that's when he started something called the EC Project with Rex, Mom, and Dad, who had just graduated from college. So he knew everyone from way back. I wonder what he's doing now. Is he still at JC Valley? When I met Elizabeth's dad at their house, I suddenly remembered Mom talking to Rex. Did I actually meet Rex 13 years ago when we came here? Rex denied it, but it seems like he did know Mom, so maybe that he was the one she was waiting for at the clock tower? In my memory, Mom looked worried, and Rex looked sad to see her like that. There was a lot of tension in the air. What were they talking about? Matthew disappeared from the cottage, and I found him drinking tea at Charlotte Graham's house. I guess he found a picture in the briefcase that made him think there was a connection between Charlotte and John, so we went to see her. He didn't find a connection, though. Rude of him to leave me behind, but I guess I left him alone for quite a while. I'm glad I was able to find him anyway. Who knows whose bags he might steal if he was alone again. While I was looking for Matthew, I ran into Bob and heard a lot about Charlotte and something about the clock tower, but he wouldn't tell me what happened 5 years ago either. What are he and Dan hiding? We needed 3 keys to investigate the clock tower. We found the sword key in the shed, and the flower key in a letter from Olivia. We borrowed the moon key from Charlotte herself, so we should be able to get in now. If Matthew gets nervous, I'll share those magic words. Even though facing the truth can be hard in the end, it's always for the best. There was a photo stuck in Michael's notebook. Matthew saw it and assumed this John guy is behind everything and ran off to find him. He's so reckless, but I found him sipping tea at Charlotte's, and I was so exasperated that I couldn't even get mad at him. Matthew was thrilled to hear that Charlotte knew his dad. She started telling old stories, and he blurted out that he wants to investigate the clock tower. He thinks if he can remember what happened here, he'll be able to find his dad. I was nervous, but we'd been told to avoid talking about the clock tower, but it all worked out. And now we're free to check it out. But he's really got to work on controlling himself. Michael was sort of friends with Charlotte. She talked about how he was a kind of troublemaker of a kid and that she yelled at him sometimes, but he also came to visit her occasionally as an adult. It seems like he wanted to make sure she was okay after her husband died. Maybe Matthew gets his kindness from his dad. It sounds like he was a great father. His son sure loves him. The owner of Bob's Food Hut. I was chasing after Matthew, who had run off by himself, and ran into Bob making a delivery to Charlotte's house. He told me the rules for not making Charlotte mad. First, I shouldn't call her Miss or Ma'am, just her name. I shouldn't mention her daughter or the clock tower. I understand the name and daughter, but what's the problem with the clock tower? Bob said it was a tragic accident and he doesn't like to talk about it. What happened at the clock tower 5 years ago? What was so sad that no one will talk about it all this time later? It seems to be a sore spot for absolutely everyone. Charlotte, the old lady whose family had lived in Lake Juliet for generations. She knows a lot about the area. I was scared of her the first time we met because of how angry she got at us, but she's actually not all that scary. She invited Matthew and me into her house and gave us some delicious homemade tea. She told us about what happened with the water pollution 5 years ago. At first, the locals were in favor of the resort development, but once the article about pollution came out, it's like a switch was flipped and everyone was aggressively against it. It's almost like they were being controlled by someone, turning against the resort overnight. The Crusoe Resort name didn't even appear in the article, so why did Matthew's dad wind up in the crosshairs? Matthew wants to go into the clock tower, so we asked Charlotte to let us in. We found the 3 keys she told us about, and we can. Charlotte's late husband. He was a clockmaker in charge of maintaining the clock tower in Lake Juliet. These days the clock tower is locked up and no one's allowed in. Robin held one of the 3 keys needed to keep it running. He used to store some of his stuff in the tool shed, so we looked inside and found all sorts of clocks. I bet he made them all himself. One of them looked like a miniature version of the clock tower, and the sword key was inside it. I'm so glad we managed to find it. But man, what an elaborate way to hide a key. A whole puzzle built into the hands of a clock. Being able to put something together like this really goes to show how skilled he was at his craft. He must have been really passionate about clockmaking. Charlotte's daughter. She fell in love with Gilbert, a photographer who moved to Lake Juliet. They eloped because Charlotte didn't approve of their relationship. There were 3 keys for the clock tower, and Olivia was in charge of one. But with her being gone, nobody knew where it was. All I could do was ask Charlotte if she had any hints. She told me Olivia left a strange box in the greenhouse. We found a letter inside the box, along with forced motion controls and a flower key. In the letter, Olivia shared her honest thoughts, as well as an apology she couldn't say to Charlotte in person. She wrote she was pregnant. I'm so glad we were able to let Charlotte know what Olivia was feeling. We wouldn't have found the flower key had Olivia not left that letter behind. Gilbert's a famous photographer. He moved to Lake Juliet from New York 9 years ago, but up and left one day. He abandoned his house, didn't even take his stuff with him. As to why, he met Olivia after moving to Lake Juliet and the two fell in love. They wanted to get married, but Charlotte was opposed. Olivia was already pregnant though, so nothing could stop the two from being together. They eloped for the sake of the child and their family. According to Bob, Gilbert was a nice guy. In the letter we found in the greenhouse, Olivia wrote that he was trying to work things out with Charlotte, so I bet Bob was right. The decision to elope couldn't have been an easy one. It all sounds complicated. It's hard for me to understand the things adults have to deal with sometimes, but I hope they're happy. But wait, not done yet. Princess, a large dog with fluffy white fur. She's a dear friend I met at the lake, Elizabeth's pet, but was supposed to be living with her mom. She's been wandering around Lake Juliet for the past few days. On top of that, she snuck into the guest house with Matthew and managed to get some food from Charlotte. What did you come here for, Princess? Rex, the director of JC Valley, and Elizabeth's father. Tommy and Elizabeth brought me along to Elizabeth's house when they wanted to talk to her, but that conversation was a total disaster. She ended up kicking us out, but Rex came to see what was going on. Sorry, Rex, we created kind of a scene in your home, but it seems like Janet is right. He doesn't know what to do about Elizabeth any more than we do. Seeing Rex does trigger something, though. I can remember seeing Mom speaking to him. About what, I don't know. It must be from when I was little, but I asked him if we met before, and he said no. Why do I remember seeing him then? I'm pretty sure it was him. We kept talking for a little while, but he didn't say anything else about Mom. Elizabeth. I ran into Janet and Tommy, and somehow we ended up at Elizabeth's house. They asked her why she'd been skipping practice, but surprise, surprise, she didn't really answer the question. Janet told me Elizabeth likes Tommy. I had no clue. We let him deal with the whole situation. While we waited, Janet told me about Elizabeth's mom. She walked out on the family when Elizabeth was little. I thought she was spoiled, but maybe there's more to it than that. I mean, I know what it's like to miss your mom, and I've definitely taken it out on people around me. My feelings about her changed so abruptly. Up till then, I'd hated her, and suddenly... I found the missing music player with the band's recording on it hidden in her room. Definitely hidden, not lost. It was tucked away in a music box her mom gave her. Why? She loves singing, but she's struggling with her feelings. That much has become obvious. Janet, her natural cheerfulness is great for bringing people together. Every group needs a dependable leader who can take everyone's needs into account, and that leader is Janet. But despite the band contest being right around the corner, they're facing a ton of challenges. I wound up going to Elizabeth's fancy house with Janet and Tommy to ask why she hasn't been coming to practice, but Elizabeth was as difficult as ever. She refused to talk about it, but I trusted Janet's quick thinking and we left Tommy to handle things. Janet and I went to Elizabeth's room where she told me about some of the struggles Elizabeth has been through. Oh, that reminds me, I nearly panicked when Janet broke Elizabeth's music box. I was able to fix it, but the whole thing taught me that even Janet has a careless side. But thanks to all that, we found the missing music player. I needed to give it back, so I waited until the timing was right and gave it to Janet and Tommy. But the conversation with Elizabeth went nowhere, and the core problem remains unsolved. I wonder what will happen to the band. Tommy is in a band with Janet and Elizabeth, but the band is in a bit of a crisis. Elizabeth lost the music player with the demo they recorded to enter the contest, then stopped coming to practice. When Tommy and Janet brought me with them to their house, I happened to find the music player, which I eventually gave back to them. It would have been sooner, but it seemed like Tommy and Elizabeth got into some kind of argument and she locked herself in her room, crying. I know Tommy's doing his best here, but I don't think yelling helped anything. Tommy seems pretty clueless, and hasn't noticed Elizabeth's feelings for him. He also is not really diplomatic, so I just have to hope this all works out for the best. Whew. Up we go.
Do these stairs go on forever or what?
Surprise, surprise, it's time to fight Bowser in the sky.
Whoa, check it out. You can see the clock faces.
I see the letters in the ground.
This thing is huge. There's a ladder. I guess it goes even higher.
Matthew, there's a bell up there.
Matthew?
I just remembered something. I brought Kelly here a long time ago.
Kelly's your little sister, right?
Yeah, the clock tower wasn't locked up back then. Kelly loved it here. She said it was like a secret hideout. I made a deal with her when we played up here.
What deal?
When the bell rang 6 o'clock, it was time to stop playing. But then, we'd go meet Dad at his office, and the three of us together would go home and see Mom.
I see. It's great that you remembered all that.
Sure, but why just that? I can't even remember where my dad worked, even though Kelly and I would walk to his office all the time.
It's okay. I'm sure you'll remember some more soon.
Maybe hearing the bell will jog some more memories, like where my dad's office is, or how to get there.
It's worth a shot.
Charlotte wanted
Let's
to hear
try
the
to give
bell
it a
anyway.
ring.
I wonder if this black thing is a clock hand.
Huh.
This looks different. Oh, I'm seeing it from behind. The dial's reverse.
Huh?
It's sticking out here. This one looks set to 11 o'clock. Wait, how on earth does this look set to... Oh, the protrusion's on 11. That protrusion's on 2. Guess they need to clean everywhere, even in a big room. Must have been a real pain to bring water all this way.
What?
What's this part sticking out? It's set to 9 o'clock. Nine. Okay, 9, 7, 2, 11.
Ah. All right. All right.
This is why we needed the 3 key.
No good.
Nothing's happening.
Hmm?
What should I do?
Yeah. Nuh-uh. No good.
We can look at our album. Numbers are reversed. How do I know which is which? Because I've got these markings on the ground that say south, east, and north. That one over there would be west. Liar.
Huh?
Does it let me go back down? It does. Does it let me leave?
Nah.
No. Ah, so there is some maybe hint down here. Roars.
Huh?
Diary.
Oh.
There's a certain mechanism in the machine that moves the clocks. First, insert the 3 keys to the proper spots. Then turn the 3 keys to the proper time. Refer to the note on the right page while taking a close look at the machine room.
I see.
Oh, okay. So north is sword, south is flower, and east is moon. Sword. Sword is north. That's 9. Sword 9, moon 7, flower 11. Yeah, lots of odd numbers.
All right, the clock's working.
We did it!
Look, it's almost 6. And when it strikes 6,
And then what?
won't the bell ring?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to watch it ring from up close? Best seats in the house, right?
That's okay.
Scared of heights?
No, it's not that.
Sure, wait here for me.
Okay.
Does he know that if you get real close to the bell, it'll probably rupture your eardrum or something? Or Ashley. He's gonna get a rude awakening. Well, I don't know, but it feels like it should be for a bell that large in a chamber that small. I didn't do any of it on stream, but I did beat 2 runs of the Spire. No, not the tutorial part, yes, but after that, no. First one was 5, but it probably could have been less than that because on a couple of the runs I deliberately went after some of the harder challenges just to see what they were like, and those were the ones that knocked me out. You know, the good old rigorous category. Oh yeah, something bad's about to happen in the game. Fair warning. I don't know how much they'd show it in a T-rated game, but... Or maybe it's not going the direction I thought it was going. It's an okay campaign, but it under-delivers on, like, the lore stuff that I expect after the last few.
I bet Charlotte
Like, it didn't feel as grandiose, but it's in the... It was in service of making it more replayable.
I wonder if it helped jog Matthew's
So I get
memory.
that, but... Don't know if I'd rate it as highly as, say, Octo Expansion. There's trace of yellow tape that used to be stuck here. Caution tape, like what a police use.
Maybe.
There's still some lore in there. Like, there's definitely follow-up to some of the stuff in Octo Expansion. I just wouldn't say it's as plentiful.
This is...
And he ran off again, because that's how he operates.
Huh? Matthew? Matthew? What's this? This picture. It's Matthew's family in front of Crusoe Resort.
I would argue it doesn't have enough Marina.
He's gone. This must mean he remembered where his dad's office is. He must have gone to check it out. I need to go after him.
Alright, cool. Well, he remembers where the office is. How are we supposed to remember where the office is?
Oh, Princess! So we meet again.
The words, "Oh, princess, we meet again," were not directed at you, you spoiled brat of a child. It was towards the dog, whose name is actually Princess.
What?
Nothing. I should go.
She likes you. She used to be shy around people.
At least she's seen a lot
Hey,
of people
Princess,
since we met her.
Have you seen Matthew? No? Okay. How about you, Elizabeth?
I passed him on the covered bridge.
The covered bridge? Thanks.
Wow, she actually told us something.
I guess I'll get going.
Hey, can I talk to you?
Oh, now here comes the redemption arc.
Did something happen?
My dad is getting married again.
Oh, really?
To the worst kind of woman.
That sounds rough.
Oh, Dad. Why'd you have to fall for that drama queen, Sophia?
Sophia? Right, she was at the cookout. Wait, did she just diss someone for being a drama queen?
What's with that look?
It's nothing. So you don't like her?
I can't stand her. She just seems so sketchy.
Sketchy? Like how?
It's hard to explain, but I don't even think she loves my dad.
Uh-oh.
But he's crazy about her. I was trying to deal with all that when Janet had the idea to enter this contest. I thought it might help me get my mind off things, so I said sure.
For the record, I think your band could totally win.
No way. Tommy's great on guitar, and Janet's a solid drummer, but my voice is awful. That will kill any chance we might have. I'm not like my mom. My voice is nothing special.
That's not true. I've heard you sing. You're amazing.
But only Ashley, not the player. The players have not heard the singing.
Me sing?
I mean...
You're the one who took the music player, aren't you?
You knew?
Of course. I saw that my music box had been moved.
Sorry, but it was a really good song. I loved your vocals. I've been wanting to hear it again.
You're a bad liar.
Why would I lie about that? To make you feel better?
Yeah, I guess not.
Tommy and Janet said the same. They think your singing is great.
But
you've got to stop comparing your voice to your mom's. However much you love her songs, those are hers to sing. And your songs are yours. It's apples and oranges.
Ashley, thanks.
Whew. Glad I got that off my chest. It feels good to let it all out.
Well, not everything has to be about you, you know. I feel better now that I've talked it out too. We may be the same age, but you're more mature.
Yeah, that seems pretty clear after all we've been through.
You think things through and you don't complain.
That's not true. I complain so much, just about different things than you.
Yeah, I know. You're so argumentative too.
What? I am not.
Always the contrarian.
Well, I really should go.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Do you know where Matthew's dad's office is?
You mean the Crusoe Resort offices? Yeah. Go through the JC Valley gate, then it's just straight ahead. But the gate may be closed if JC Valley is too.
Thanks, Elizabeth. See ya.
Maybe she's right. I have my own songs to sing.
The band plotline might just feel a little underwhelming to me. Oh, hey, what's Bob doing over here?
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Bob. I'm looking for Matthew. Have you seen him?
Actually, he just ran right past me. Turned the corner off towards Charlotte's house.
Got it. Thanks.
I thought he went towards JC Valley. I just came here because I saw Bob looking at the cat under the truck, and I'm like, do we actually get development on the cat under the truck? But now I want to go over here and see what does it say about the fact that, you know, I can't go this way. Closed. Can't get through. So what's he doing? Looking for a way around? Or just wants to have a nice chat with more tea and cookies, maybe some raspberry cake?
Charlotte!
Oh, Ashley. You got the clock going again, didn't you? It was wonderful to hear the bell chiming.
I was expecting a bigger reaction from the town because they've been waiting how many years for that thing to happen?
Did Matthew remember anything else?
Yeah, he remembered a little about Kelly and his dad, but he disappeared once the ringing started.
Oh dear.
I think he may have gone to the old Crusoe resort offices. I'm trying to catch up to him, but the gate's closed.
Oh, well, you should use the shortcut under the bridge.
That
There's a
doesn't
large
sound
pipe under there
safe.
that isn't used anymore.
And you're allowing this?
The kids used it to get to Michael's office all the time.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Well, if he used it before, that explains why he's following that path now. Under the bridge, you say? There's the pipe. How do I get down there? If I look at the map... Under the bridge? Why would you think that? Oh, I'm supposed to, like, click on this spot where the rope is
I
broken.
don't think this was broken the last time I was here. Does this rope go all the way down? I wonder if Matthew used this to get through. I'll just hang on tight and hope for the best. Ow!
Are we that much heavier than Matthew, or...
Well, that was more dangerous than it needed to be. Wow.
This pipe is huge.
Oh.
I can see some light down there. Maybe I can go
All
through. Yeah, it's not like Charlotte said that at all.
This is...
You would think a place of this caliber would know about this giant security issue, but...
This is the building from the photo. This must be the Crusoe Resort offices. Now to try and find Matthew.
The stairway to the second floor is blocked by furniture and boxes. Door is locked. Fortunately, the one door that we actually care about is open.
Matthew! I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, Ashley, you found me. I'm sorry I ran off. I remembered the way to my dad's office. It came back to me when I heard the bell. I think we'll be able to find something here.
It's all right, Matthew. I'll help you look. Oh, right. Here you go.
My dad's briefcase. Thanks for grabbing it. Now, let's take a look around.
This poster. Is this what the resort was going to look like?
Yeah, it is. And this was my dad's vision for Lake Juliet.
There's an old news article.
Matthew, check out this photo in the paper.
It's Sunglasses Guy.
Crusoe development spurs protest by Greg Davis. Lake Juliet area residents have gathered for a protest demanding Crusoe Resort cease further development. Crusoe Resort, established 2 years ago under the motto Harmony Between Nature and People, has been pushing for the resort development. But recently, residents have been voicing complaints, claiming the water tastes different and that there are no longer fish in the lake. They blame the resort development and started protesting to bring it to a halt. However, there's no definitive proof that the development has led to any environmental destruction, let alone lake pollution. Meanwhile, Crusoe Resort asserts that an unknown contaminant discovered during an independent investigation is to blame. This issue is one to keep an eye on.
It says here the pollution may be from an unknown contaminant. So that guy's a reporter. I knew John Smith was a fake name. He's really Greg Davis.
That's not a much more real name.
Greg Davis? I found this.
Keychain is labeled file
We
storage.
can look around a little more with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boxes. Cabinet is empty. Drawer is empty.
Huh.
Camera has a different design than the ones around the lake. Broken window.
It's open now. So this is the file room?
I hope we can find some info about my dad in here.
Spectating, update. Greg, the guy who claims to be a special agent, definitely doesn't fit in the campground with his black suit, blah 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 blah, stuff I've read before. Matthew's on the clock and we found some clues, so we're gonna keep looking. Okay, just updated his name. But look, can you really blame me for thinking? My original theory was that Michael was this guy. Just that he shaved his hair a bit, and then put on sunglasses, and grew out his beard, and put on a suit. So I really thought the angle was going to be that, you know, Michael was doing the investigation on his own. That he didn't want his son to know, so that he disguised himself. I honestly can't believe they're different people. That's the bigger shock. So I guess props to the game for keeping me on my toes. There's nothing inside the locker. But this one has stickers.
These stickers are kind of cute.
A squirrel. The only locker with a lock.
Oh.
That's my dad's.
No way.
Yeah, Kelly put these stickers here. There's gotta be something inside.
But it's locked.
Oh.
What's up?
I thought so. It's a sticker of Kelly's bunny.
I wonder.
5 stars on the sticker.
Sure.
Huh.
Oops, I almost broke it. I guess it's just the zippers. I guess the zipper's just for decoration? Really? I guess that explains why we never looked inside. A tag.
Ah.
Pinky Rabbit.
Oh.
0410.
Oh. All right.
Michael.
Huh.
Huh?
To my beloved Michael. I would rather say these things in person, but there's simply not enough time to sit down and discuss this. There's so much going on right now, and I understand it's a lot to handle. I know you're preoccupied with restoring Crusoe Resort's good name, but I'm begging you, please. Turn your focus toward Matthew. He's been through a terrible trauma. He can't even remember what happened the day Kelly died. My days are numbered, I know. That's why, after I'm gone, I want you two to support each other, as a family. Although I may not be able to speak these words to you, I hope you'll hear them all the same. This is my only request. Emily. Yep, okay.
Matthew, this is...
That's what I thought we would see earlier.
It's a letter from my mom. It's to my dad.
what she wrote. Is it true?
Kelly...
Are you all right?
I remember.
What happened?
The weather was so nice that day. So I told Kelly, let's go up to the clock tower.
Well, we already know the outcome, so brace for
Breeze is
impact.
great up there. And the lake looks awesome. But once we were up there, Kelly tried to climb even higher. I told her to stop. It's dangerous. But then, the bell. It started ringing. And Kelly, the sound scared her. I was scared to remember Kelly. And what happened? That day, Kelly's accident, I forgot it all.
Matthew, that wasn't your fault.
I need to tell Kelly I'm sorry. I couldn't save her.
It wasn't your fault, Matthew.
Kelly? Is it really you?
Yeah, I will say it was very obvious from the get-go. Just because whenever we got a glimpse of her, she was glowing the same way that Dee was.
I ran away. Once you and Mom were gone, I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't help Dad. I'm sorry, Kelly. I failed as a brother. Kelly, I'm glad I got to say I'm sorry. I think I'll be okay now. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Come on, Kelly. It's time to go.
Mom?
Matthew, I'm sorry I can't be there with you.
Kelly! Mom. It's okay. No more tears. That's what my mom said.
Those were not the words that were just spoken in the script. Matt,
It's okay.
as you're hearing.
To cry when you're hurting?
Okay, that wasn't creepy at all.
Are you alright?
Mr. Davis.
Yeah. I'm good.
Hi there. I guess my warning to stay out of it fell on deaf ears, huh?
It's Sunglasses Guy!
Well done, Matthew. I take it you still don't remember me?
Greg.
What? You know this guy?
Yeah.
For a second, I thought they were going to turn around and say, actually, they are the same person. Which would have made zero sense after they showed us a photograph where they were two different people, but...
Allow me to introduce myself. For real this time. My name is Greg Davis. I'm a reporter. I was listening in from the hallway. You helped Matthew regain his memories of Kelly. Thanks, Ashley.
Did you know all along that he couldn't remember and what happened at the clock tower 5 years ago?
I did. As well as why Matthew lost his memory in the first place. I'm from Lake Juliet. That's why Michael and I became friends. We go way back. And I met Matthew about 5 years ago.
So that's why I didn't remember you.
Kelly's death was such a tragedy. The shock resulted in Matthew's dissociative amnesia. He completely lost his memories from around that time.
You should have just told me. I thought you were a bad guy.
Had I told you, you would have remembered all the pain too. I wanted to spare you that.
So you had me pass your warning on to Matthew, instead of telling him yourself. I never believed you were a secret agent, by the way. You wrote the article about the pollution, right?
I did. But I never meant for Crusoe Resort to take the blame. I only wanted to shine a light on a problem in my hometown. But in the end, that article, it pushed my friend's company to ruin. But now I'm close to learning the true cause of the pollution. All I need is Michael's notes.
I mean, look, in your defense, if the lake became polluted to the point where you couldn't really use the lake in a meaningful way, then the resort would have failed.
My dad's notes.
He left them in his locker, right?
But, you would rather your friends start a resort on a clean lake for a number of reasons. Alright, Greg's been updated. The update is that his portrait doesn't have sunglasses. Everything else is the same. Thanks, game. Meaningful update there.
Ashley.
Was there anything in the locker? did we find in the locker? Alright, so much other stuff happened.
Ashley.
Oh, I'm supposed to look at it. There are some
What's
documents.
this?
The problem of pollution in Lake Juliet and its connection to JC Valley. The Crusoe Resort project was intended to make the most of Lake Juliet's natural beauty. We never approved or plotted any manner of environmental destruction. However, Crusoe Resort is now being blamed for the pollution of the lake's water. Our business is bankrupt as a result. Unwilling to accept the outcome, I joined efforts with the few remaining staff members, and as a result of our independent investigations, we can confidently state the source is JC Valley. This document details our investigation of Lake Juliet in an attempt to bring the truth to light.
Whoa. It says that JC Valley is responsible for the pollution.
Those are Michael's notes. I finally have them.
Does it have any information about my dad?
It does. If I can reach out to my JC Valley informant,
that would be
maybe
Ian.
I can finally learn the truth about the pollution. I'm so close to fulfilling my promise to Michael.
Your JC Valley informant. Do you mean Ian? You talked to him on the phone earlier.
Oh crap, you heard that? I was trying to snag an inside source and wound up with him. He should be coming through with some key intel soon. Listen, this info on Ian is strictly confidential. If Dr. Robbins were to find out...
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Not even my dad.
I appreciate that.
What did you promise Matthew's dad?
Michael and I made a promise to each other 5 years ago. I told him I'd discover the source of the pollution. He told me he'd reestablish his company. Your father didn't want to face you until he had earned back what he had lost. I mean, clearly, to have left you after you'd already lost so much.
Yeah, it was probably the wrong move.
But now, Michael is...
He's what? Where's my dad?
Just tell him, Greg. Matthew deserves to know.
Michael is in the hospital. He worked tirelessly, saving up money to reunite with you.
I'm sorry, this information
But there
should
was
have
an
been
accident
shared
at
with
his
his
work
last of kin
He's in a coma.
much sooner. What is wrong with the adults in this world?
No, it can't be true.
Let's not tell my mom that I'm pregnant, says Olivia. Let's not tell Matthew's son that Matthew's in a coma, says Greg. Let's not stay with my only son after losing the other members of our family so that I can try and earn back my reputation instead of having a life with him, says Michael. Like, there's just so much wrong.
Speaking. Really? Understood. I'll head out right away. So, Matthew, do you believe in miracles?
Well, that sentence informs me that he's not in a coma anymore.
It would seem your father has woken up.
Does it really strike you as that much of a miracle? You found out he was in a coma 2 seconds ago, and now all of a sudden he's awake from the coma. So there hasn't been enough time to process the fact that he was unconscious for so long.
That's great, Matthew. Your mom and Kelly must have been looking out for him.
Yeah. I want to go to the hospital right now.
Of course. I'll take you.
Okay, finally doing something right.
Look out for Matthew, Greg.
I'll keep him safe.
Thank you, Ashley. I owe you so much.
You don't have to thank me. I know just how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
See you later? Oh, wait. Take this.
My watch.
I picked it up off the ground.
My dad gave it to me. I thought I lost it.
Yeah, I know. I saw what it says on the back.
To my dear son, Matthew.
You should go. You have a lot of catching up to do.
All right.
Well, Matthew reached his objective. He remembers 5 years ago, and he found his dad.
Good luck, Matthew.
Oh, and we worked things out with Elizabeth, so we're tying up some of the plot threads here. So naturally, there is still some more to be done.
Ashley.
Ryan?
Dr. Robbins asked me to find you.
Really? Why?
He became worried when you didn't answer the phone in his cottage.
Oh. Right.
Let's not forget my theory that this guy is also a ghost.
There's something he wishes to talk to you about. Dr. Robbins is in the lab. You should go see him.
I've got a few things I want to ask him, too. Thanks.
Well then, shall we go?
We shall. Next time on another Code Recollection. Alright, I wanted to go a bit longer tonight to try and make up for tech failures, and like I said, I am hoping to actually knock this game out sometime soon-ish. To knock another thing off the 2024 catalog, but we'll see how it goes. It goes as it goes. It's a visual novel. You can't rush it too much, besides my little speed reading tactics in the DAS menu.